All right, hello. It's been a few days since. Well, oh, what the heck? It should be up. What's going on? Hello, Mr. Genesis. I hear you're unliked around these parts. I wasn't gonna do this. I guess the most recent ice incident too. About, I think his name is Petty or Pretty. Protect is so blunt, it's hilarious. Yeah. Tradition and value. Long time no see. Hello. Because I thought that first one was a disaster. Hello, hello. I can't hear y'all. Long time no see. A fellow Catholic. Bob the Gamer. I've seen you before. Hello.
Yo, what's good, lad?
How you doing?
Oh, pretty good. Yourself?
Yeah. I've been okay. Besides, my mods crashing out at me. Won't say any names. I'm doing pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I only joined because you sent that invite to Poppy's thing.
Oh, you're in there? I had no idea you were in there.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, W, nice.
I'm just waiting for her to fill out to make that form so we can actually be mods on her live.
Yeah.
'Cause the only one that has mod is Luna because she's making. She says she's like making a form though to fill out, yet she still hasn't made it. But we lost our mods. Like
Oh,
what?
that's terrible. Yeah.
I know.
Tradition, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
I
Uh,
saw your TikTok where you were talking about the other live, and I guess, or no, the debate, and I guess it didn't go so well.
yeah, we'll leave it at that. It's on YouTube. You can watch it. Yeah.
Fair.
I'm not gonna say much. I was told not to.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Hey, can I just give you guys a warning really quickly? If I just have background noise, just let me know and I'll mute my mic because I play games while like on debates.
Ooh, what game you playing?
Right now, I'm downloading Resident Evil 2 because I want to play like all the series. I'm gonna do the remastered ones. So I'm
Oh,
gonna go from 2, 3, 4, and then yeah, I'm playing 2, 3, 4 back to back, but the
I played the
remastered ones.
remastered one a little bit. I played a little bit. So yeah.
But I mean, I've played all Resident Evil. It's easily my favorite game series.
It was too scary for me. I'm very sensitive.
No, the only one that I found really scary would be Resident Evil 2 when I first played it. Because when I first, like the remastered version, because when I first played the remastered version, I was like 12 and I was like a bitch back then.
I'm gonna change the ice prompt to a different ice prompt because a crash out down there in the comments thinks it's bad. But what are you
Mm.
saying again?
Yeah, but when I first played Resident Evil 2, the remastered version, I was like 12 or 13 and I was a bitch because, most 12, 13 year olds are. So I didn't really play it. And then, but the only one that I actually found like scary was 7. When
What?
you with Jack and the family, because you're
Oh,
going looking for your wife Mia.
oh, I see. Crash out in the comments. Yeah.
Mm.
I want to try Resident Evil Village. I think I just downloaded it, so I'm gonna
Village is so fun. Can I spoil it a little bit, please?
go ahead because I'm probably gonna forget
Have
anyways.
you played 7?
No,
Biohazard?
no, none of them.
Oh,
The second one.
bro, you gotta play 7 before you play Village. It's a story, bro.
Oh,
So I'm like, I get like really like attached and into story games, and like when people don't like play in order, I get like a little angry. But sorry about that.
well,
But yeah,
I
but
don't
if
really
you want to like
understand.
fully understand 8, you have to play 7.
Makes sense. I do have a
But I can
question for
fill
you.
you in on 7 really quickly if you want.
Don't spoil it. I'm gonna play it on Twitch. So I have a
What,
question.
7?
Yeah, yeah, both of them, all of them. I'm gonna have a
Oh,
question for Tradition. What do you think about both ice incidents that have happened?
I think you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. I
quote of the
am
day right there.
totally,
Quote of the day.
I'm totally pro ice. I think it's a good thing, and I think leftists are a word that I can't mention on here.
Yeah, I don't know as much context of what happened, so I'm not really gonna say much. But yeah, I think it's unfortunate that lives are being lost. But like I said, I need more context about what happened.
Wait, can someone fill me in on like what's happening over there? Because I'm in Australia.
Um, Supposedly I hear ICE is unaliving people, and some people are, I that's
Well,
all.
if they come here illegally, they should just be deported. And if they fuck with the police, well, then they get. You play stupid games, you might get stupid prizes.
Did you see the
Well,
woman that got her hand blown off?
oh, that's awful.
What a doofus. She literally picked up, I can't remember what they call them. Not like a grenade, but it's like something low bar, kind of similar though. And she picked it up and held on to it, and it exploded in her hand. Like,
Flashbang, tear
yes,
gas.
that's it, flashbang. Like, why would you pick it up? Why wouldn't you just run? Like, so yeah, very interesting.
That is
You look away from it and try and cover your ears as much as possible.
Right.
that is a absolutely grisly sight to witness. This person's not
Yeah.
leaving. Anybody else? Oh, if you're the context of the first woman, she believes she like walked in front of a police car. I'm not sure if that's true.
Well, I heard
No, no,
about that
no.
one.
The police officer walked in front of her car, and she tried to drive him over. I think that's what happened.
Yeah, she did. Well, they were trying to stop her, and so they were sort of like in front of her car, but kind of on the side. And she went to, I don't know if she deliberately did it, I don't know, but it kind of looks like it from the angle that I saw. And then to drive away, instead of reversing and going straight, she just kept driving, so at an angle where he was. And apparently, I think it was like a year prior, he'd already been hit by a car before.
Yeah,
So he
hit and
was
drug.
right. Yeah, so he was kind of already feeling a lot of ways about that. She just happened to be there and do the same thing. So
I should kill all niggers and have white power, total nigger
Okay,
death. Fuck
goodbye.
niggers, gas the Jews, gas.
It's
Yeah,
funny because
so
they think that if they do that, they're gonna get the live taken down. It's hilarious.
the thing about that too is it doesn't even matter if it was a vehicle, if it was, let's say she had like a boulder in her hand. As long as it's a threat to his life, then he's actually supposed to unload his pew pew.
With probable cause.
Yeah, probable cause, meaning a threat to his life.
Mm.
6, 7,
Well, what do you
8,
think about
9.
it?
No, but
Kyle?
even then, you should only use
11.
lethal force when they're using lethal force. Most of the
What do
time,
you
you have
think
to use
about it?
non-lethal, which is
13,
taser, pepper spray.
14. Yes, that's what a threat to your life means. 15, 16,
What do you think would
17,
happen?
18, 19, 20. I think he would have been fine. I think that could have been avoided personally. But I'm not saying it's completely unjustified. I believe it could have been avoided.
This person in this weird language. What do you think about what occurred?
Well, I have found through recent events. One second, please. I have found through recent events that if you attack a police officer, that apparently it can actually give you a lifetime of enjoyment. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
from the moment you endanger their lives, you can have a lifetime of enjoyment, whether that's 2 seconds or 2 minutes. Results may vary. Yeah, you can get a lifetime of enjoyment right there in that one moment. Not sure why you'd want to do that, but yeah, a car is a deadly weapon, so she should not have done what she did. It's quite unfortunate that someone made her believe
Don't say
that she would have been
schmepping
safe.
up here. Don't want to get
Says
banned.
schmecken.
Schmepping. Yeah, schmepping.
Ooh.
I don't speak German.
Just don't say the W word.
Yeah, but that's my take on it. As
No,
far
I
as the
agree
other
with
one
your
goes,
take.
I don't have much of an opinion just because there's conflicting narratives, and I'm pretty sure someone already showed that like everyone's footage has been altered, so I'm kind of like skeptical.
Wait, you're talking about the Renee situation?
No. The Renee
The
situation, I believe,
second
is
situation.
100%.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
I watched that in slow mo. I think it was a good self defense situation. Tires were aimed directly at him. They were not aimed at making a right hand turn. They were aimed directly at him.
Oh yeah,
If
100%.
you had the option to
I
watch the
gave,
slow mo, she actually spun tires.
yeah, I tried to give
With
her the
modern
benefit of the
vehicles,
doubt. I really did try.
yeah.
I thought maybe she was looking out of her side window, right? She was looking at these other two officers, and she wasn't looking in front of her. And then I watched the video. She had looked directly in front of her.
Well, you also have her wife screaming, "Hit the gas, go, hit the gas."
Yeah, like she was
Um,
trying to leave without her wife. Come on now.
no, her wife told her to do it.
Yeah.
This
So it's
cat
like,
person. Oh, sorry. I don't want to interrupt. Sorry.
oh, go ahead. My bad.
Please interrupt. You
Yeah,
know
this cat.
me.
Yeah, what do you have to say about the problem with the two ice incidents that occurred?
I mean, the law has to do what they have to do. If we didn't have law enforcement, there would be chaos.
I
Absolute
believe there's
chaos.
enough chaos
Facts.
right now with them even being involved. So,
Very,
yeah, I
very,
couldn't
very, very
imagine.
insightful. Very, very insightful. Mermaid, mermaid, Asian stamps. What do you think
It's
about?
mermaid farts.
Bro. 34, and
Oh
I agree
my
with
days, bro.
tradition what she said about you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
Oh, wait a minute! I know
Yeah,
you.
I
Wait,
think
I
she
remember.
That was me, wasn't it?
No,
learned
that
a
was
lesson.
tradition.
No, I
No.
recognize you. I played. I was just playing Call of Duty with you.
No
Oh,
way.
stop.
Yo, Protect, can I get your opinion on something?
Yes, sir. You may speak.
You've played Resident Evil 2 Remastered, yes?
What do you mean? Yeah,
Should
I
I play
played.
Claire or Leon?
I think you should play Leon. That's who I played with.
Oh,
If I remember.
Gage
Okay.
Chicken wanted
Thank
me
you.
to say that if you're illegal, no opinion about ICE.
If you're
If
legal
you're
or
illegal.
illegal. Okay. Yeah, my dad immigrated here. I think I get a little bit of speaking
Well,
privilege on it.
Well, you see,
So,
I bought
I'm a
stock in
Texan.
America when it first started, so I technically own all of it.
Oh,
Yeah,
jeez.
I'm a Texan, and I'm a 2A advocate. So I'm
hey,
technically
how was
doing a
the
number of illegal
snowstorm?
things
Horrible.
Terrible.
at any given time.
Mermaid's
It's
in
still
Alabama.
icy here.
She can't
Y'all
even
need to be
leave.
more equipped.
Yeah,
They need to get on that already.
I was sliding today earlier.
yeah.
I was
Wait,
thinking
did
about
Texas
moving
get
over there.
snow?
I get lots of snow where I live, and we are well equipped.
Wait, did Texas get snow?
Oh, yeah. And was the last
That's
time like
unheard of.
5 years ago, that you guys had a big snowstorm that affected you guys?
Yeah, five years ago down in South Texas, we actually had snow on the ground for like a week. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think more of you guys need all-wheel drive vehicles. Stop being scared of the the highway.
Get like 200 series Land Cruisers. Some of the most reliable vehicles you can get are
You know
Toyota
what?
Land
Screw it. Just
Cruisers.
get a plane.
All right. Anybody else?
Yeah, get an A10
Hello,
Thunderbolt 2,
Adrian.
also known as the Warthog.
Oh yeah. Oh wait.
Hello,
There's
Mr.
what's the one that
Adrian.
screams? The
What do you think
hawk.
about the prompt?
Yeah, I would say that if one breaks the law of God, then they are doing that which is evil.
Who?
I'm just saying, if one breaks God's law, they are doing evil.
But who's breaking
Yeah.
whose law?
What are you referring to?
I'm
Everybody
saying
as a whole?
if they break God's law, they are doing evil.
Oh, okay.
Has anyone
All
done
you're
so,
doing
in
is
your
like
opinion?
restating your statement over and over again. You're not
I know.
telling us
I'm
who.
really confused. Yeah, but that's the thing. Who is? I don't know who's breaking whose law.
Why does Protect sound like an owl right now?
Yeah, okay.
Who? Who?
That's what I always sound.
Who?
Who?
Well, yeah. So it's what's your opinion on the ICE incident? My opinion is, if they broke God's law, then it's evil.
Okay, we're just gonna move on. I am. What's your age when you think about what the two ICE incidents that occurred?
Actually, I agree with him because God says that we should follow the laws of a country, and those people broke the law.
Not necessarily.
100%. Yes.
45 males.
No.
You
45?
can't have it both
We're
ways.
Oh, we're getting some
well,
words out of him now.
You're 45,
Wow.
and what do you think about the ICE incidents that has occurred?
It's unfortunate, but it's also unfortunate if I stick my hand in the fire and I get burnt. Like, what happened was unfortunate, but he brought it upon himself. You can't break the law and then cry when you have to face consequences. And the gentleman who's saying
You're not wrong.
if they broke God's
Preach,
law,
bro,
they're wrong.
preach.
The gentleman who's saying if they broke God's law, they're wrong. They were actually going by God's law. You're supposed
Exactly
to
what
respect
I'm
your nation,
saying.
protect your nation, serve your nation. So that's God's law. What's God's law?
Well,
is to not rebel
again,
against authority. And
God says to
Freddie
follow the
and
laws
Miss
of the
Good
country.
rebelled against authority.
No, he doesn't.
Which is in
Yeah,
direct
they may
violation
be
of
chaos,
God's law.
but
Hey,
these
hold on, everybody's
agents,
talking at the same time.
these agents are trying to control the chaos.
No, they're following their orders because
It
they're
doesn't matter if you have orders or not.
Dictates the laws of this land. If you don't like them, you feel free to leave.
I'm not leaving. I'm just stating
Or
that
change the laws.
You end up like
you may follow protocol and listen to your head captain, but the thing is not everybody will listen to their captain. They do it just to do it.
Unfortunately,
because it's what is just.
That happens in everything. You're supposed to serve fries at McDonald's with a smile, but a lot of these broads that are at the window are very angry, and they don't.
Exactly.
It happens in every line of occupation.
Why do you think some of these ICE agents and cops are angry? Most of them are angry.
Yeah, because most of the citizens so-called peacefully protesting are not doing that. And they're well outside of that line, but yet they're given a pass because people on the left will cry farces anytime their feelings are hurt. So you can't have it.
And then they'll scream January 4th till the end of time. Or 6th, sorry. I didn't even get it right. They'll be crying that till the end of time, no matter how violent they get. You see them breaking into stores.
What did you say?
So I had a question concerning the person who said something is just.
Yeah, you can respond to that point. Yeah.
What's up?
So you said that they were doing something that is just. What standard are you going to go to in order to say that if something is just or not?
You did something wrong. You pay the consequences for it.
Yeah, but how do you know if something is wrong?
You notice there's something wrong.
I think he's doing a critique on your moral framework right now.
And this would also go for Kyla as well. because you were saying obey the laws of the land. We don't see that in scripture as well, but
Yeah.
yeah, what standard are we to go to in order to know if something
Scripture
is
has nothing to do with
just?
American law, but all right.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
you're gonna hear a plea to legality from me, to be completely
Scripture has
fair.
nothing to do with American law, but okay.
Yeah, I agree with you. We should establish God's law in the land. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, this
No,
country
that's
was
not what I
built on
said.
God.
But
You've
then
got
God also said treat
separation
every
of church
immigrant
and
like
state. It's
native
in our
born.
Constitution. Get it right, brother.
Okay, all right. Two different people talking. I can't address more than one at the same time.
Oh, it's not. That proves it's not.
What's not?
The separation of church and state phrase.
Yeah. I'm a Christian. I hold the separation of church and state. What are you talking about?
No, he said it's in the Constitution. I'm just addressing the claim that he said.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Separation of church and state is not in the Constitution. It's a letter from Thomas Jefferson to Danbury Baptist Association.
All right, I don't have time to deal with idiots.
Okay, well, God bless.
You
Repent,
just
trust
proved
in
him
Christ.
wrong, and then he crashed out. Anywho, I think Kyra was next. What's your age when you think about the prompt?
Hello, my darling. I'm 23. I'm so sorry. I'm about to sneeze. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm 23 and I agree with Ice.
Finally, someone around my age.
Do you agree with the two incidents that have occurred recently?
Yes, they were obstructing an agent of the law. I don't understand what they expected.
All right, then. Anybody else? Anybody who disagrees or disagree, come up and voice your opinions.
I also want to tell Adrian that basically whatever I was saying, if there are laws unjust, there would be laws to change them, or otherwise it would be chaos.
Yeah, but what standard are we to go by in order to know if a law is just or not?
That guy had what was coming to him. He shot somebody.
I don't think that addresses my question.
He shot somebody.
He's saying, how do you know?
I know it because if you see an act just like that agent did, you will go.
There's been stipulation.
Well, did the person that the agent killed or shot or blah blah blah, did he deserve it?
Yes.
She thinks so.
Yeah, well then the agent had every right to do it. If they deserve it, beat them.
Well. Here's the thing. And she's saying it. So you're presupposing that what the agent did, and
I do agree with that.
And real quick, I'm not saying one way or another because I'm not fully.
What do you think of
educated
the
on the matter.
death penalty?
I'm just stating that if they break God's law, that is evil.
What do you think of the death penalty?
Death penalty. God bless it.
Christians can't believe in the death penalty.
Hold on. Everybody's talking at the same time. So in this case, in this incident, what would be God's law in these ICE cases?
Hey guys, I gotta drop. See you guys.
All right, see ya.
Goodbye.
All right, so in these
Have a good
cases, what will be God's law, Mr. Adrian?
What's that?
What would be God's law in these ICE cases that recently occurred?
Well, I don't know all the ins and outs of the cases, so I'm just going to say, if they break God's law, then if the ICE agent breaks God's law and doing a particular action, then they're doing evil. If the person that they had shot, if it is very well the case that they did something that is not congruent with obeying the commands of God and deserves some capital punishment, then what the ICE agent did in dispensing that judgment, that'd be justice. But
curious.
I don't know all the ins and outs.
I think you might be leaning towards the ICE agent being in the wrong because you said that the laws we have now are not part of God's law, did you not?
Well, so that's not necessarily the case. I'm saying that if if someone does X and it deserves them capital punishment or deserves them, hey, there's going to be an immediate action. We see that being commensurate with self-defense principle in Scripture. Say like someone who walks in at night into a home and the person doesn't know what's going on, then they are justified in taking the life of that person because they don't know what the situation is.
Yes,
Or even
Duncan.
or even in like attempted murder, when it comes to like the principle from perjury, what you intended to do to your neighbor. And in Luke 10, we see who the neighbor is, everyone that is around you. I'm
I'll
just
respond to
saying,
that when I get a
if
chance.
it follows that the person did something that is worthy of capital punishment in accordance to God's law, then it is just for them to receive a particular punishment, capital punishment.
Right, because God makes the decision at the end of the day. That's why I kind of believe in the death penalty. But what's your opinion on illegal immigration in general? I'm just curious.
Illegal, well, if it's so illegal and by what standard?
The state.
Yeah.
The state.
The state.
Yeah,
So
the country.
so the state willy-nilly declares what is righteous and what is not righteous.
No, I'm just saying
No, you
illegal.
think the
No, by
Bible does.
illegal, by illegal meaning it's illegal by law. That's
Yeah.
So I'll hold to that we are to have the same laws. We're not to show partiality, as we see in Scripture, that the same law for the inhabitant as for the sojourner. So if the sojourner breaks the law, then the same punishment is to be dished out for the sojourner as it would be for one who is inhabiting the land, a citizen of the land, and they do the same thing.
Can you dumb that down for me, please?
You're saying that both
Like,
people are subject.
Okay,
People
so
with authority and people without
if
authority.
sojourner steals, there is going to be a just punishment for that, and that same punishment should be dished out to the citizen who steals. You're not to show
yes.
partiality. So just because that one is a citizen or one is a sojourner, you should not be like, oh well, because you are this sojourner or citizen, we're going to waiver the punishment. No.
So what about like just basically residing in the United States illegally, compared to somebody who's already a legal citizen, like a natural born citizen? Like, where does this apply?
Right. So again, this is like trying to mix old and new wineskins, and it doesn't work out too well.
No, it's not. You're trying to pick and choose what verses you want to apply to what. Are you familiar with the book of Romans, the book of
No.
Titus, the book of First Peter?
I'm curious on your thoughts of Isaiah 1:7.
Isaiah
Go
1:7.
to Romans, I believe it's 13.
Yeah.
Subject to higher powers, meaning
Oh
authority.
yeah. Romans 13. That is Paul saying that they punish the evil and they reward the good. And so, by what standard is Paul going to in order to say what is evil and what is good?
Let every
It's going
soul
to be God's law, bud.
subject unto the higher powers. He doesn't say higher power. And if you
Yeah,
look up
and those
the
higher
Greek
powers are
version
put
of
there
higher
because of
powers, it
God.
goes
But
to
again,
authority.
what
God
is
has
the
placed certain
role of the
individuals
state?
into authority. You must submit to the
What
authority.
is the role of the state?
Well, we can play word schematics all you want.
What
Don't
is the
use
role
the
of the state?
Bible when it's convenient.
What is the
for
role
you.
of the state?
Are we not supposed to
What
be
is the role of the
subject to
state?
the higher power?
According to Scripture, what is the role of the state?
You tell me.
Well, you're the one who's all up here like blah 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 blah
No,
blah.
you're the one that's
But you
picking
can't
and
answer
choosing
it.
what verses you want to use.
Yeah, the
Like,
role of the
come
state
on,
is
bro.
to punish the evil and reward the good.
So who was evil and who was good in this instance? Because you're using
So
the Bible
we're
and
going
saying
off. Okay,
if
so
they're going
again,
against God's law.
so
you can't
again,
even
what
pick-
standard
you
are we
can't
to
even
go
tell
by
us
That's fine,
in order to know what
guys.
is
who
evil and what is
violated
good?
Time,
God's
guys.
law. Who violated God's law? Because that's your fundamental
My
basis.
guy, my guy,
I'm
you
not
brought
your
up Romans
guy.
13.
I'm not your guy. I'm not your guy. I'm
Okay,
not your
pal,
bro.
bud,
None of that.
friend.
Okay. I'm listening.
Okay, so you brought up Romans 13, right?
That's one of the things I brought up, correct.
Okay, so Romans 13 says, punish the evil and reward the good. That's the role of the state. And so what standard are we to know what is evil and what is good? God's law. That is the ultimate standard.
Agree.
Okay, So what's the
No,
issue?
so now I am at. There's an issue when you want to use that, but you don't want to clarify it. So I'm not disagreeing with you.
What?
Who in this case violated God's law?
That's the thing. I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs. I'm just speaking
But
generically. What are you talking
you're
about?
speaking so convictly about it and putting all these like pick a side, pick one, or just say you don't really know, and therefore, you know what I mean?
All I'm saying is, if they've done something that
Okay,
goes against God's law, it is evil.
okay,
That's
not to
all.
cut
That's
you
all I've
off,
said.
not to cut you off, because I agree with that statement. Alex Preddy did such a thing. He violated law, state law. Period. If you need to
Oh
know
yeah, we're talking
how, I
about
can.
God's law, not state law.
But
Well, that's the question in
God
hand.
says
Does the state
submit to
law?
authority. You
Wait,
must
well, that's the
submit to
question in
authority. Give
hand.
Caesar what is Caesar's. You must submit to authority.
Well,
Oh
that's
my goodness.
You
Okay.
should come
Okay.
up
So
here.
so if it is state's law that you must grape gingers
Hold on.
every
See
Wednesday,
now. Come
and
on.
you
See now.
don't.
You're playing games now. You're playing games.
No,
That's not what's at
no.
hand.
No. I'm testing the principle of what you brought forth. You're
No,
saying
you're
broke
not.
state law,
You're
therefore blah
throwing
blah
a
blah blah.
ridiculous
And I'm testing that
hypothetical out there.
principle.
You're
Oh,
throwing a
wait,
ridiculous
hold on.
hypothetical out there. If
So
you live within a
I
country
bring
and you
forth a
think the law is
hypothetical, and
unjust,
now
you
you're
should
like,
leave.
oh well,
All right, one
no.
at a time, guys. One at a time. Talking over each other. Okay.
So
Go.
again, pleading to legality gets you in trouble, my guy.
I'm not your guy. I'm not your guy.
Okay, my friend.
Well, that's the thing. Does the law violate God's law?
Yes, that is the thing. If it is the case that the state law violates God's law, then it violates God's law.
Well, I
Okay.
think it was a good question. I think Kyla asked, does immigration violate God's law?
It depends on how you're going to be doing immigration.
Yeah, so illegal immigration, residing somewhere illegally. What I'm not trying to trick you. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just
No,
trying to learn.
and I think I answered it. So,
You're,
so we see in God's word that you are not to show partiality. So someone can be here illegally because they're not going through a proper process, what have you. I hold to a stance of you make it known to those that are wanting to reside. So let's just throw it out there. If, for example, not if, but when, because it will happen, the United States becomes a proper theonomic nation. So you have the people of the land. They have committed themselves to Christ, predominantly Christian. Not saying that every single one is a Christian, but predominantly. And you have God's law established in the land.
Typically Catholic too.
Yeah.
I know.
So someone who is getting into the nation illegally would be one who is trying to invade.
Okay. Yes.
So we see that in
Okay.
God's word that there is a proper process for handling hostile nations or invasions. So yeah, the state is there to protect. So there's going to be a militia, there's going to be an army to help protect the nation against foreign entities and even people who are working within, like leading people after other gods.
Right. Okay.
So it really depends on what you mean by illegal immigration.
Residing.
If they're here and they are if they are like a sojourner and they're breaking a law in the land, then
Can you
they'd
define
be doing
sojourner?
something that is
But
illegal, and there's to be a proper punishment dispensed to them.
okay, would you say a law of the land is to not immigrate here illegally? Then, in that
Well,
case,
again, you're gonna have to see you're gonna have to like define things, and I think you're like pushing the
well, that's a law of the
illegal
land, is it not?
presupposition aspect into the well again, God doesn't say you follow the law of the land. God says you are to establish His law in the land.
You just explained that saying law of the land. So,
Well, if the law of the land is God's law, then we don't see anywhere in God's law where it says
right. But you
You
haven't
can't
been
come
able
here.
to answer
Kill all
I did.
immigrants.
if like for example the ice incident, because you said, well, I'm not actually sure basically what God's opinion would be on that.
No. That's not what I said. I said I am not certain of the ins and outs of the situation. So I'm
The
just going to
ins and
say,
outs.
if they break God's law, then it is evil.
Can I ask?
Okay, and you didn't answer if they were breaking God's law.
Because I don't know exactly what
The
had
ins
happened.
and outs. Okay, I'm not trying to
Right.
frustrate you.
No. I'm not frustrated. No, you're fine.
No, I
When
just trying to get clarity.
it comes to Alex Peretti, do you feel like he violated the law?
I don't know because I don't know what happened.
Okay. Well,
I think there needs to be a thorough investigation before
I'm not
I
trying. I'm
make
not
the
trying to be
final
rude
stance on it.
or condemning, and I don't want to get into like a feelings debate. So if I come across that way, I apologize. It's not my intent. In the case of Alex Peretti, do you know what impeding law enforcement is? Interference with law enforcement. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah. So I wouldn't go off of that because, like impeding law enforcement, impeding them in like doing something that is ultimately unjust.
See, you
So
can't. You're
saying
picking
impeding
apart
law
what
enforcement.
you want to go by, bro. Like
No. Here's the thing: like impeding law enforcement. I think it's unjust to penalize someone for, because we don't see this in God's law. So I'm led to believe, based on God's law, that it is unjust to penalize someone for, say, having car insurance. And so it's wise to have car insurance, but do they have to have? And if they don't, they're punished? No, that's unjust. And so saying impeding, you are presupposing that what the law enforcement is doing is in fact in accordance to God's law. So I would say impeding them inherently is not wrong.
So based off of your argument, we have to morally decide the laws that the police, law enforcement are imposing, and then decide if we want to follow them.
I'm sorry, repeat that again.
Based off your argument, what you're saying to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that each individual has to take a look at the laws of the land, the laws that these officers are imposing, and then decide within themselves if they want to follow each and every law, whether it's based right or wrong.
Within themselves, no. I disagree with moral moral relativity or subjectivity.
Okay, well let me
there is an ultimate standard independent of the mind of mankind.
Right. Okay, so let me rephrase it because you are right. So each individual has to look at the laws of the land, the laws they're opposing, and decide whether they are in line with God's law to determine whether or not they're going to follow them.
Well, so here's the thing on that.
You're making an argument and you don't even have the backbone to stick to it. You sway to and fro like the wind.
No, sir.
Your argument. Yes.
No, sir. No.
Okay, well, I'll let you speak and I'll go to the Bible and I'll give you proof.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. Have you been to an abortion mill before?
After this, I'm going to let Duncan speak because I think he's been itching to.
I told you I'm going to let you. I'll answer any question, but I want to go to the Bible. But if we're going to go to abortion, that is divinely wrong, the slaying of innocence, I'm on your side.
I agree with you. Exodus 21:22-25 shows equal rights, equal protection. I'm right there with you.
Right.
Do not sacrifice your children to Molech.
Yep.
Right. Leviticus 20:1-5, condemnation against pro-choice and pro-life. I'm right there with you. So when it comes to abortion mills, we see rescue those that are being led to the slaughter, right?
I'm listening. Yeah.
Well,
he's out of the app.
Oh, okay, he is.
I'm
Okay.
here.
Oh, he's back.
I'm here listening to you, bro. I don't want to answer like you can. I'm trying to give you proof of my argument of what I believe biblically.
Sure,
So allow me to do
sure,
that. I just don't want to go
and
back
keep
and
in
forth.
mind, and I'm sorry. Also, keep in mind, I'm just going off of memory here. It strains my eyes to focus on a screen or to read text right now. I just recently had uh, um, retina surgery,
I
so
understand. Yeah, I'm not gonna
okay.
pull anything
So,
up for you to
if you're
read.
wanting me to read something, yeah.
No,
Anyway,
no, brother. I want to give you the verse. I don't want to misquote it. I don't want to give you something
sure,
from
yeah,
like
and
you
I
said, my
appreciate that.
personal
Yeah.
belief. I just want to go to verse. So what I'm saying is, you can
Hmm.
say whatever you want to say, and if you have a question, because if I go back and forth between my screen and the Bible and this and that, I'm
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
lose, get kicked off. So just let me answer at the end when I can come back to you. So, but I am listening. I'm just, you know what I mean?
sure, yeah. So when it comes to say like the abortion mill, we go out there quite often, preaching and pleading, reasoning, encouraging parents. Hey, how can we
Amen.
help
I
you obey?
appreciate you for that, by the way.
Yeah. How can we help you obey God's law today? Um, how can we help you obey the commands of God today? So we go out there and preach the gospel. But we see in Scripture that it says, "Rescue those that are being led to the slaughter." So would it be wise for us to just run in when we know that we would be arrested and taken out of the proverbial fight um, for that type of ministry, when we have so very few people actually engaging in such a matter? No, that would not be wise. Now, it would be a different story if predominantly it was the case that we had um, Christians doing sidewalk ministries like that, or evangelizing just in the street in general, which is so difficult to get people who say that they're compassionate and love Jesus to actually obey His commands like that. Because Ephesians 5:11, that's not a suggestion. That's a command. Do not partake in evil, but expose the evil. And then for us to believe in Proverbs, cry out for those that have no voice, stand up for those that cannot defend themselves. And also Matthew 25, what you did not do for the least of these, you did not do for Jesus. We see that later on in a passage of Matthew 25. But I so wholeheartedly want to be like the apostles and in the book of Acts. But it's not wise at this point in time because of the amount of people that we have available, and also the inability to provide for those that are depending upon me. So there's wisdom. It says, "Be as innocent as doves and as wise as serpents." So we want to use wisdom in our interactions with society and not do things that would take us out of the proverbial fight. Like for example,
That's one of my
like
favorite verses. Sorry, I just wanted to tell you that real quick.
yeah, appreciate it. So now when it comes to like, for example, like speeding, should I then just go off and careen down the road lackadaisically because it's not because we don't see a command from God to put up like speed limits? We see that if you schmorter, your life is owed. If you do damages, then you're to give compensation for that, double fold, sometimes even 4 or 5 fold, or even depending upon if they are utilizing that thing for their business. So we see something like that. But we don't see like preventive measures and then penalizing people based upon those preventions. So should I just go off and careen? No. There's wisdom when it comes to car insurance. Is there wisdom in having car insurance? Yeah. Do I get car insurance, one, so that I'm not unjustly penalized? Yeah. Do I pay taxes so that I'm not unjustly penalized? Yeah. So there's wisdom in obeying even unjust laws. But go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Hello?
Sorry. Romans 13, 1 through 7, I'll read
Yes.
right through there. And before you dispute it, because I don't want to pull up, like you said, you don't want to read it. Everyone must submit himself to governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. It goes on further to explain that they beareth the sword not for nothing. 1 Peter
Mhm.
2, 13 through 17. Submit yourself for the Lord's
Hold on.
sake to every
Finish reading
human
Romans
authority.
13. Finish reading Romans 13.
You want me to read the entire chapter?
Yeah, when he's addressing obeying the state, why they're there. So yeah.
Right, I understand that. So in your argument, and it is just, believers.
No. Read Romans 13, please.
Oh my goodness. All right, let me go back to it.
So when it's talking about the state being there, why they're in that position, and what they're there for.
And I was just going to sum that up without having to read it. I understand that. And therefore, if you think that the laws that these people are implementing go against God's will, God's law, then
Well, actually, I'll tell you what. Okay, so read Romans 13, but also keep in mind Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 2, Deuteronomy 12, verse 32, and James chapter 4, verse 12. Also, Romans 3:31, which comes before
also
Romans
Titus
13.
3:1, command them to be submissive to every ruler of authority. 1 Peter 2, 13 to 70, submit yourselves for the Lord's sake to every human authority. We can go on and on, and your argument is always going to be, with the exception that if they are outside of God's law. And I understand. So
right.
outside of
Okay,
God's
so what
law
is
in this
okay? Hold on. All right, so James 4, verse 12. There's only one lawgiver, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 2. We are not to add to or take away from God's law, correct?
Again, you're
correct.
Bro,
I think what he's contesting here is this. It's not really addressing what he's saying.
I know that, and therefore, I mean, when you have people who
No.
want to be
I'm
divisive,
speaking on behalf of you. I think what Adrian is giving isn't necessarily addressing. Like, it's not speaking directly to what you're saying. It's
I know, and that's why I'm saying it's like it's gonna, we're just gonna go around and around in a circle, because at the end of the day,
No. What you were saying is Romans 13 says, obey the authorities that are in the land, right?
For God so put them in authority for a reason.
Okay,
they do not beareth the sword for no reason.
Right. And the role of the state is to punish the evil and reward the good, correct?
Not solely, no. It's also to keep chaos and anarchy.
Oh, yeah. Punish the evil and reward the good.
Again, I'm not going to play word games with you. I'm a grown man. I'm not here to argue and be decisive and
okay.
say,
So how do you keep anarchy from going about?
God puts into place authority figures, which therefore we are submit ourselves to them, unless it goes in divine contradiction against God's law. And I'm saying,
there we go. Fantastic. Good. So the standard by
that.
which we know what is evil is God's law. The standard by which we know what is good is God's law. So the role of the state is to punish the evil in accordance to God's law and reward the good in accordance to God's law. We see in Romans 3:31, it comes before Romans 13, that should we then by this faith overthrow the law? By no means. We do not overthrow the law. We establish the law. Right.
Okay. Right. And in the United States of America, these
and
laws
you did
have been
say
established.
also, and I agree with you. We obey the state only so far as it does not go against God's law.
And
What
I
does
just said
God's
all
law
that. I
say
just said
about
all that
establishing the
is your
law in the
argument.
land?
I
No,
just said all of that.
You're missing it. You're missing it. You're missing it. You're missing it.
I don't see
I
how.
agree with you. We obey the state only so far as it does not go against God's law, correct?
You said the same thing 100 times. So I'm waiting for you to say something new.
That is a yes. I just want to make sure that is a
I've
yes.
already said yes several times.
Okay, good. So Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 2, that's part of God's law. We are not to add to or take away from God's law, correct?
Again, you're using Old Testament scripture and applying it.
Wait.
You're
Wait, you
misapplying
were
it.
using Old Testament scripture to say that we can obey unless it goes against Old Testament scripture.
You said that.
You said it first, I reiterated it, and you agreed.
From the New Testament. I agree with the underlying principle.
Oh, okay.
I agree with the underlying principle. You could be condescending. You could try to be sarcastic.
Right. So without God's law,
if you want to.
So without God's law, tell me how schmorter is wrong and what a just punishment for schmorter is.
The unjustly taking of one's life.
I agree with you, but tell me how you know that it is unjustly taking the life of someone. How do you know what schmorter is wrong and what the just punishment is without God's law?
Biblically, I know that because it goes against the Ten Commandments.
Okay, biblically. So so biblically, so that's in God's law that schmorter is wrong, and you know what a just punishment is?
Did I not just say that? Like you
okay, but that's God's law.
Hearing that noise.
But
Where's
that's
that
God's
noise
law.
coming
I thought we can't use God's law.
When did I say that? When did I say that? I say the only way.
When I pointed to God's law concerning Deuteronomy 4:2, and you're like, but that's God's law. That's the Old Testament. That's God's law. I'm like,
do you keep all 613 precepts of the law?
You don't?
You keep all 613 of them. So you're still under law and not grace. Therefore,
I'm calling cap on that.
I mean, come on, dude. If you want to be real,
yeah. In light of the New Testament, what are you talking about?
If you do not, in light of the New Testament.
So you don't hold to the sacrificial system in light of the New Testament?
So through the blood.
Wait, what is happening right now? That's such a straw man.
Playing games. He is playing games. He is not coming.
No.
Yes,
I'm not playing games.
You're coming here to create division and argue because you have a stance in which you've already said. You're arguing and talking and debating about an issue that you've already stated yourself. Well, I don't know the facts, and I don't know. Why are you even speaking on it then? Because you don't have a backbone. You will not commit to one way or the other to even say. You're just saying, well,
because I don't know all
God's
of
law,
the information concerning the incidents. I've already spoken on that, and I've already stated if it is the case that one side or the other went against God's law, which more than likely one side or the other did go against God's law, then it is evil.
Okay, and what I'm saying, and then what I hit you with was, do you not believe that we have to give police, law enforcement, let them do their due diligence without interfering? And you can't even answer
as long as it's in accordance to God's law.
You can't even answer that with okay.
I just did. As long as it is in accordance to God's law.
You got it, brother. God bless you, man. I mean, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to argue with you and be just divisional and be decisive and be condescending and play word games.
I'm not
okay,
here to sow division. I'm just here to
let me see if I
state
can
it
help this out for just a minute.
Go ahead, please.
Because I can see both sides of the argument here, and like there's good points that Adrian's making, there's good points I am is making, but I think you guys are speaking past each other. Just to be explicitly clear,
we kind of are. Yeah.
So I think, and I am. If I straw man you, please correct me, Adrian. What does the Bible say about speeding?
Nothing.
Good point.
That's his point. That's I am's point. If there is no biblical decree about a given law, then I think what he's saying here is that following the law is going to be, I'm sorry, is going to be what ought be. Is that
Okay.
correct? I am.
Yes, yes.
All
Okay,
right,
great.
so let's test that. Let's test that then. Let's test that. So do we see so this is my point. We utilize God's law in light of the New Testament, the general equity, the spirit, the concept of law. I'm not going off of verbatims, okay? So God does speak on the matter of speeding in the sense that you are only to punish if they do something in accordance to God's law that warrants them of punishment. Speeding
that's circular,
is a
though.
preventive thing.
Wait,
Like,
that's circular.
penalizing someone because they speed, that's
Wait, hold on.
that's an unjust
circular.
thing. Yeah.
That's incredibly
it's-
circular.
well, God is the ultimate standard, so yeah.
Okay, but you're still not addressing this logical fallacy of circular reasoning. So, like, if it's the case, like if you're saying, yeah,
Well,
if you're saying that,
how is my
I'm about to tell you.
not
Trying to tell you.
hold
Yeah,
on.
I'm about
no,
to tell you.
No. How is it not virtuously circular?
What do you mean by virtuously circular? Circular,
Yeah, I'm
circular. It
going
doesn't
to
matter if you're
God's
trying to
law.
be virtuous or not.
Yeah, I'm going to God's law.
Okay, great.
Like
You're
what?
saying that anything that is in lieu of God's law ought be punished only if God's law says so. Like, can you repeat that part? I don't want to straw man you. Go. Can you repeat that?
Yeah. So when it comes to things that we do, we should be punished. We ought be punished in accordance to God's law. So if it is laid within God's law, that say, like, for example, grape, there's a
Yeah. Go. You
punishment
speeding.
for that.
That was my reference.
Okay. Do we see, like, the concept, the principle of a preventive punishment? Do we see that in God's law?
Well,
That's the whole
this is
point
just
that I'm
begging
trying
the
to make.
question.
That's
I
the whole
asked
point that I'm trying to make.
explicitly
We do
about
not see-
speeding.
Yeah, and
And so
speeding
you're
is
trying
not
to say
inherently
that this
evil.
is some preventative law, and I would like you would
It
need an
is.
argument for that. Like, what's the argument that speeding is going to be some preventative law?
Can I hear your question
Yeah.
again? Can I hear your question again about the relating God, like preventative measures in relation to God? How did you just say it? How did you just ask?
Who?
You, the one who's advocating for the like speeding isn't like necessary because it's preventative.
Right. So we see in God's law that if someone does something, then there's going to be a particular punishment, either going to be capital or corporal.
No, but you just said in the case of speeding, it's preventative. so
Right.
therefore-
So giving someone a speeding ticket, that is punishing them, because what is the purpose of, like, speed limits? It is
Yeah,
to
I would say
prevent
they're useless.
accidents.
And per your own worldview, you said that you ought not be punished if there's no violation of God's law. We've already conceded that there is no law
Right.
pertaining to speed under the Christian theistic worldview.
Right. So we shouldn't be punishing people for speeding.
Okay, so based off of that, because you're saying this, so if everybody got out there in their cars tonight and
Mm-hmm.
drove wherever they wanted as fast as they wanted, will we not have
Yep.
chaos and anarchy? And therefore,
Yeah, but if they do something, but here's the thing: if they do something, so if they speed and it results in them doing property damage, if it results in them injuring someone, if it results in
Right,
them
right,
taking
absolutely.
someone's life,
Absolutely.
they are
And so-
punished not for speeding; they are punished for the damage,
damages.
for the injury, for the death.
Yeah, we agree.
Absolutely. So by that same rationale, like I just said, if they came on television tonight and broadcasted, hey, you know what? For the next week, everybody can drive wherever they want at whatever speed they deem within God's law, however they want. So you and I get out there and do 80, 90. He does 106. She does 60. And the
I'm
old
going
lady-
higher than that, brother. I'm just
right. I'm putting it to the floor. But the old lady who lives across the street from me is going to do 25. What do you
Yeah.
think is going to happen?
Yeah, it could very well lead to property
Right,
damage, injury, or
right,
death. But what
It
I'm saying
could, but it
is,
also couldn't by the same metric.
right,
right.
exactly.
So therefore, to alleviate that, even that's why the preventive, what you're saying, preventative. That's why these laws are established. Because, okay,
No,
we
no, no,
don't
no.
want any
That's
chance.
unjust, though. That's
And
unjust.
I'm actually
That's
agreeing with
adding to or
Adrian
taking
here.
away from God's law.
I'm agreeing with Adrian in that preventative laws are like Minority Report. If we are, and just to index the founding documents, if we are a country that is quote innocent until proven guilty, well, you're treating people as if they are guilty until proven innocent. And I would just fundamentally disagree.
Like
That's
I
antithetical
Yeah,
to the founding documents.
like I don't
and that's
I
why I
don't
disagree
necessarily
with
totally
forcing
disagree,
people.
but it's a very sketchy line when you start saying that
No.
individuals have to judge laws that are in place by authority so that we do not have chaos and anarchy, so that people do not get hurt, property is not damaged, based off of how we think.
Okay, I think I'm missing. Okay, I think there's a missing. Okay, I think I see what's going on here. So what I'm saying is, we're talking about oughts, not is, oughts. So what ought be the case? So what ought be the case is have God's law established in the land, and realistic, and to be realistic about it. That's pretty much only going to happen if the people of the land are beholden to what God says.
In within, like, right, I totally agree.
Right.
And
So it's not likely to
There's
be
an
the
issue
case
with
that
it
we
too.
would have God's law established in the land if the people of the land were not truly beholden to what God says.
okay,
And that's one of the reasons why I firmly believe that a majority of the population
should
are
be
not beholden to what God says,
right. Okay, so going back, which
or
brings us
even 50% of the population, or 40% of the population, because we've seen in times past where the minority have been outspoken
yeah,
and the majority has been silent.
I agree.
So
So let's bring
if
it
it were
forward.
actually, I mean, anyway, I digress on that point on the percentage of people who are actually Christian in the United States. I don't want to get into that right now, but what I'm pointing out is, there it is unjust to add to or take away from God's law.
Okay, so I'll hit you with this, and I'll bring it back to the current topic, so to speak. If we allow all of these other people from other countries, other providences, who do not want to come here to assimilate to our Christian values, morals, and principles in God's divine law, do you see why immigration needs to be done in a legal? You see that? Does that make any sense, or no? Or
They should be punished if they do something.
as
But
soon
that's
as soon as they
antithetical to the
cross
founding
that,
documents.
as soon as they cross
Well,
that
yeah.
border, they
Well,
have done something.
I don't necessarily care about the founding documents. I care about God's law.
Yeah, but so from a pragmatic position though, how would you implement this without like a disruption? Like you would essentially have to overtake the government, overtake society, and
Yeah.
start from scratch and reinstantiate like a new country.
I mean, not necessarily a new country. I mean, it could still technically still be the United States of America, or we could change it to like the United States of true Israel. I mean, I don't know, because who is the true Israel? Those that are in Christ. Yeah, you being a geographical location named Israel, that does not make you the true Israel. That does not make you the people of
Agreed.
God.
100% agree.
So when it comes to people saying, "Oh, support Israel," I'm like, "Yes, God bless, amen. Support Israel, just not a godless nation that is called Israel."
Zionist nation, yeah. We're in
Yes,
100% agreement.
support
with
the people of God. Those are the true
Right.
Israel,
that. Correct.
and they could be in Zimbabwe. Now, that tangent got me off on, got me distracted. Sorry. Oh, so again, we're talking about aunts, not is. So if it is very well the case that we have a society that is fully beholden to what God says, and we have God's law established, I really don't see a need to have like a thing that says, hey, if you don't abide by this, then before you enter, you're going to be penalized. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, let me ask you this: did you say you were for or against immigration? Pragmatically, as it stands.
Well, I am. I would go along the lines of equal rights, equal protection, the same laws for the inhabitant, also for the sojourner.
Okay,
so you're not to show partiality.
This doesn't really tell me anything. Just direct question, direct answer. Are you for or against immigration?
Yeah, I'm okay with someone coming into the country, but if they break the country's laws, then yeah, they're going to be punished.
Okay, so like as it stands, them coming into the country is a violation of 8 USC 1325.
Right off.
But I'm
Like
talking about I'm talking about in accordance to God's law. So
okay, but there is no law.
If there's an aspect of this country's law that
okay, this is where I asked you about the
God's
speeding
law,
question.
then it is unjust.
Right, and I grant that. That's fine. But this is where I asked you about speeding. A law that we have in this country, which has no baseline substantiation as far as the biblical text goes. So if that is the case, there's no Christian backing for a law of speeding. I would say the same would apply for immigration. So if that's the case, then you would just have to kind of say, okay, well, there is no precedence here, no biblical precedence here. And that being said, are you for or against immigration?
I'm for it in accordance to God's law. I'm against it in accordance to God's law.
This is literally this explains nothing, and I think this is where I was getting frustrated. Because to get like you're being asked a direct question and you are literally obfuscating
and
the question.
I'm answering it.
And I'm stipulating that there is no biblical index for this law. Like that's what I'm stating.
So here's the thing: no partiality. So if immigrants, schmorters in this land, so we're talking about aunts, God's law established. So we're doing so in accordance to God's law. If immigrants, schmorters in the land that God's law has established, they get the same punishment.
Yeah, that's fine. I can grant that. I'm simply stating immigration. I'm just saying the act of coming into the country, which violates 8 USC 1325. I'm not talking about what they do when they get here. I'm talking about the violation of 8 USC 1325. Like explicitly that.
I think he's already answered that without answering it. He's saying that they can come regardless of that law. It then depends on what they do while they're here.
Right.
Okay, well then that brings me to another question. Adrian, would you affirm what he said?
Yeah. They
great.
Come here, and as long as they're civil and operating
that's fine. So I am. Yeah. You said something about there being a section of Scripture that says that we must follow the laws of the land, correct?
Correct.
Great. That's where I would say that you, Adrian, would be in violation of the Scriptures by advocating to say that it is permissible for them to violate 8 U.S. 1325.
Okay, so again, he has still yet to show that Romans 13 is talking about you must obey the laws of the land.
Well, do you have a Bible at home that's in big enough print that you can read?
Me focusing on something for too long would make my eye hurt.
Well, I mean, I can't. Like, I read you a passage, and then you want me to read the entire chapter, and then put Old Testament in with it, and
here's the thing. Here's the thing. You already agreed that we are to obey the law of the land only so far as it does not break God's law. Correct?
And I'm telling you that the authority figures in position of power here in America only have their authority through God, and therefore we must obey their rules. Because only God can give them that authority. And they have the sword, not for no reason at all.
Okay. Okay, we are to obey the law of the land only so far as it does not go against God's law, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 2. We are not to add to or take away from God's law. So us making a law on speeding, is that just or unjust?
You would have to remain agnostic.
I'm telling you.
No,
You would
because
have to.
Does a law on speeding add to or take away from God's law?
It does nothing to God's law. Nothing.
Does a law on you have to have insurance? Does that
It
add
does
to or take away
nothing
from God's
to
law?
God's law. Nothing.
Okay. Do heartbeat bills add to or take away from God's law?
I'm not familiar with what that is, but based off of the other things
They
you brought
take
up, I would
away,
say
I believe, correct?
It's related to abortion. It's related to abortion. That's what
Yeah, I believe they take away from God's law.
okay. And I've already told you, when it comes to abortion, that is a clear violation of God's law, God's will.
Yeah, we don't need to get into that. I can assure you.
we're not talking about like the moral aspect of what abortion is. We're talking about the establishment of laws. So I just utilize the heartbeat bill as an example of adding to or taking away.
Explain the heartbeat law. What are you saying? That it can be
Okay.
smothered after a certain amount of time within the womb? Is that what
No,
you're saying?
if heartbeat, you cannot abort.
Okay, and I've already
But if you do, and you're the mom,
It's against God's law.
if you abort and you're the mom, after this certain period of time, you're still not going to be penalized. And that
Okay,
is
and I've already
unjust. That
told
adds
you,
to or takes away from
you don't
God's law.
have to go to that bill or that law because abortion, period, is going to.
That's why I'm an abolitionist, though.
Yeah. Kyla, have you read
believe in
the Norman statement?
I don't want to get into it because I would be frowned upon to Protestants. So,
Wait,
Why
you're
would that
Catholic?
matter?
nope, I'm not Catholic. I'm Orthodox.
Oh.
Well, that's
yeah,
good enough.
Yeah.
That's good
Yeah,
enough.
well-
honestly.
I would say that she's
But I
not
don't
an
even believe in.
abolitionist.
I don't believe in incrementalism either. So,
Well, even though
Yeah,
even
you would
though
just be a non-compromising immediatist.
I refuse to get into this argument.
well,
But thank
while
you
I
for
think the
reminding me.
Orthodox, while I
But
think the
anyway,
I think the Orthodox should submit to Rome. That's good enough. Continue.
I don't.
What
But
was that?
that's a different story.
I didn't hear that. What was that?
It's a different story. I think the Orthodox should submit
Yeah.
to Rome, but that's good enough. You guys can continue.
Okay, yeah, I don't see. This is the problem within the church itself. There's so much doctrination and just divisiveness, and like we're not really like you and I, the guy I've been speaking with. What's your name?
Are you referring to me?
Yes, sir.
Adrian.
Adrian. We're not like we're not really in disagreement until we start nitpicking and then going. You know what I mean? Like we fundamentally believe most of the same things. I just
Well, again, I think it comes down to what is just and unjust, and if we have a law in the land that is based upon man thinking that they have the authority to declare what they think is just or unjust, yeah, I think that's wrong. Man does not have the authority to declare what they think is just or unjust. Man has the responsibility of establishing what God says to establish, and He says His law, and He is the only lawgiver. James chapter 4 verse 12. And with Deuteronomy chapter 4 verse 2, and with Deuteronomy chapter 12 verse 32, we are not to add to or take away from God's law. That buttresses my point when it comes to Romans 13. Romans 13 does not say you follow the law of the land lockstep. And again, what standard are we to go by? What standard is Paul using when he says punishes the evil and rewards the good? Paul would be going to God's law in order to say, yeah, this is the role of the state. This is what the state was designed for. This is not merely a description of what is going on. It is a prescription. This is telling us what the state's role is. Punish the evil, reward the good.
How much time have you done? How much time have you done?
I'm sorry?
In prison? How much time have
How
you
much
done in
time?
prison? Yes. You
Like
probably got a whole lot of time in prison, right? Because there are a whole, according to you, unjust, ungodly rules that you violate, that you refuse to follow because they go against God's will, right? So you've got to have some
that's
good
not what
time
I'm
on
saying.
that.
Yeah, I
Oh,
already said that when it comes to, we're talking about one, so two categories here. One is establishing laws, and another one is obeying laws of the land. Now, like for example, me obeying, say like a speed limit law. I'm not obeying the speed limit law because it is the law of the land. I'm obeying the speed limit law because I do not want to be unjustly punished. Same thing for car insurance. Same thing for health insurance. I think that's still a thing that you have to have health insurance.
No, you don't have to.
no,
Okay.
not health insurance, no. But it's
Okay.
crazy that you see, yeah. Like I don't.
But regardless, like these things, like you have to have car insurance. I have car insurance.
Hello?
One as a
Shut
wisdom
up.
thing,
Hello?
and
He's a troll. Just kick him.
so it's a wisdom because if something were to happen, I may or may not have the finances, but that insurance that I've paid into, the premium, that's a wisdom thing. And plus, I do not want to be unjustly punished for not having car insurance. A driver license.
I get, bro. I get all of that. I get all of that, and I'm telling you,
I
I'm
don't
like,
have a driver license simply because it's the law of the land. I have a driver license because I do not want to be unjustly punished.
I get it. I get it.
Real estate tax. All
Does this
all
go
these
back
things.
into the preventative measures?
Yeah, so these are things that are preventative that we don't see in God's law. Punishing someone, using punishment as a form of prevention, or like the concept of what speeding is. Punishing someone for speeding, like did they harm someone? Did they do property damage? Or are they just breaking a trivial law of man? That's all they're doing. They're just breaking a trivial law of man. They didn't harm anyone. They didn't take anyone's life. They didn't do any property damage. That's where we see that if you do something wrong, property damage, taking someone's life, theft. Now, when it comes to other things like there was one other thing that was a biggie. Codes, code enforcement for building. We don't see that in God's law, like the parapets in God's law. We don't see that if you don't have the parapet, the railing, the fencing. We don't see that if you don't have it, you are just automatically punished. No, we see that if you don't have it and someone is injured because you don't have it, you are punished. You're not punished because you don't have it. You're punished because someone was injured due to negligence. Now, if you have it and someone is injured, then the onus is on them. The responsibility is on them. You're not at fault because you took the preventative measures to put a parapet, to put a railing. Very similar to why we put barriers around open manhole covers. The reason why we put fencing around pools.
I get it. You
So
don't have to
we
go
see
into
the
every
general
law.
equity
I
of
get
God's
it.
law concerning parapets.
I understand that, and again, I'm not in disagreement with what you're saying. Where we disagree is we're not even disagreeing. So I would put, like, how do we can't simply wait and let anyone come over here and then wait for them to display or show us through their actions or lack of actions whether or not they are going to abide by, you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
can't
hold
let it
on.
get
Why
to that
not?
point.
Well, here's the thing. Why not? We already do it for our inhabitants. We already do it for the citizens in the country.
Well, I mean, you got a good point there.
There are citizens within the country that that are doing certain things with certain people that you and I would both agree with would be atrocious. The illegal moving of people. There are citizens within the United States that are doing that thing. Graping, citizens in the United States doing that. Schmorter, citizens in the United States doing that. Theft, vandalism, citizens within the United States doing that. So I don't see like why you have such a reservation, because that is already how we are doing things today with the
And I
citizens
agree.
of our land.
Bringing that up probably wasn't the best wording or example, because you're right. But we have that privilege. We have that because we are citizens. We are here legally. Um, so I I guess we're just going to disagree on this. I mean, there's no way I'm not gonna convince you to see my way. You're not gonna convince me to see your way. Although I understand where you're coming from. In an ideal Christian nation, that's the way it would be. However, this is no longer a Christian country. It has become
Well,
a smelting pot.
I agree with you. I
We were
agree
never a
with you
Christian
on
country,
that
to
front.
be clear.
I agree with you on that front that it is not a Christian country. Even though Supreme Court said that it is,
It was
and
founded
that
that way.
Do you
Supreme
have a
Court
case law
ruling
for
has
that?
yet to be overturned.
Wait, do you have a
What's that?
case law for that?
There is a Supreme Court ruling, I do believe in the 70s or the 80s, that stated that the United States is a Christian country.
I would have to see the case law, because this is antithetical to the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment.
Well, it's not actually in the First Amendment, but if you look at the founding fathers, Christians.
Well, yeah, the First Amendment is freedom of religion, right?
Yeah, and there's an Establishment Clause within the First Amendment that says that the government can't establish a religion or set a standardized religion
Right,
for the country.
right.
Yeah.
Does the Supreme Court make law?
No.
No, so it's just an opinion, right?
Well, it's not an opinion. It would be an interpretation, which is why.
No,
I asked
no,
for
no,
the
no,
case
no,
law.
no, 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 no. So the Supreme Court has opinions on what the law says, correct?
No, the Supreme Court has opinions on the constitutionality of laws. That's their
Okay.
job.
I'd say that was more accurate. Yes.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, they themselves, they don't make law. They just interpret. So they bring forth their own opinion on it. But what I'm saying is, I agree that it is not a Christian nation, because if it were actually a Christian nation, we would have God's law established in the land, and we would actually be punishing grapists justly. We would actually be putting schmorderers to capital punishment. If a mom schmorders her child in the womb, then she would receive capital punishment. If it were actually a Christian nation, we would see these things established in the land, actual equal rights, equal protection, things that are commensurate with God's law. Not the 6,000 or however many laws that that have come and gone.
So I agree with that 1,000%. My only thing is, the reason why it is not is because we have let so many other religions come over here and assimilate. And so therefore,
Right.
that's why I bring it. That's why I bring back a necessity, and that the immigration policies are actually, whether you like it or not, implemented by man, but coinciding within God's law.
Yeah, I wouldn't say necessarily that the totality of the immigration laws.
Not the totality, the basic
Yeah.
fundamental principles, that if you want to come over
That
here,
if you come into this land and if you break a law, then there's going to be a punishment for you.
well, not only
Like
that,
in that sense of not showing partiality, like the spirit of that law, that does align with not showing partiality, as we see in God's law. But man's law is not aligned with God's law.
Right, and I'm not in total disagreement with that. I would just say that by having them do it the legal way, going through the legal process, it gives us further conviction. Nothing is 100%, but it allows us to assume with the righteous conscience that they will then come over here and abide by God's divine law. Because if they're willing to take the legal steps to do the first thing, you see them, those that come over here illegally are already, whether you agree with the law or not, are breaking the law. So therefore, they are much more likely to break another law because they've already showed that they have no contempt, no conscience when it comes to our laws.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
It's a little
I don't see
preemptive, though.
Yeah, and I don't see anything in God's law that says that you need to take a class or anything like that, or that you have to have like a visa or anything like that. The only thing that we see in God's law is the same laws that you have for your inhabitants would also be followed on the sojourners, and the sojourner would have to be would be aware of that. And since and so my view on this anyway, my view on this anyway would be if we did, not if, sorry, I keep on saying if, but when we have God's law established in the land, we're at the age of digital technology to where we can just post. I mean, we already do. We already post the laws of the United States up online, and all someone has to do is go to online and see the laws of the land. So they would just be entering in the country, and we would be presupposing that they have the understanding that these are the laws of the land. And if they break them, then there's going to be a particular punishment for them.
Right. I agree. And
but the whole like and I think Kyla said it, that like the stating you are coming in here illegally. Like there is a presupposition there that coming in, outside of these predetermined courses, like we don't see like I said, we don't necessarily see anything in God's law that says there are these predetermined paths that you need to take. You need to go through this vetting process or anything. Yeah, I would say that'd be wise. But if someone doesn't go through that, they're not going to be in here illegally. They're just going to be held to the same standards.
I mean, like,
because we already have those.
Like that's a contradiction.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. The people that are outside wanting to come in here, we have like the people that we are so worried about out there. We have those same types of people already inhabiting this land.
That's not
as
relevant.
Citizens.
That's not relevant at all. And I don't think it's necessarily so much. It's not. Well, hold on. To be explicitly clear, it's not so much about worrying about what types of people are coming into the nation. I don't think that's. I think politicians and I think constituents use this as like some emotional plea to state why they ought not be here. But I would give that no credence. I would give that no credence whatsoever, because ultimately we don't know what their intentions are. The only thing that we do know is for those that cross the border, they violate 8 USC 1325, which is illegal. And if there is nothing in God's law that says anything about, or you could index in God's law to 8 USC 8 USC 1325, then it's going to go back to what was stated prior about abiding by man's law, or not man's law, but the law of the land. So that's why I say, like, this is completely contradictory to say, well, I don't have to abide by this law just because there's nothing in the Bible about it. Well, I disagree. Respectfully, of course.
Right, but
yeah, that's not my whole thing. Like I said, I don't obey the law of the land because it is the law of the land. I obey the law of the land in certain areas, like, for example, insurance speeding, because I don't want to be unjustly punished. That's wise.
Okay, well, and that's fine. But like I said in the chat earlier, you as a citizen cannot violate 8 USC 1325 because you're a citizen.
Right, and I would say that is a an arbitrary man's law that is not commensurate with God's law.
How does
Because
it
where
not
do we
commensurate with
see?
God's law?
Okay, because we already have it established in God's law that you are to have the same laws for the sojourner as for the inhabitant.
And,
You are
and
not
by
to show
sojourner here,
partiality.
you're I'm assuming that you're meaning the immigrant, correct?
Yeah, the one who is not a citizen.
The non-citizen, the immigrant.
Right. Yes.
So
you are to have the same laws for the citizen as for the non-citizen.
Well, yeah, we do.
No, not currently.
Really? How so?
Okay. What law is there for the citizen that says if you enter into this land illegally, you're going to be punished?
Yeah, you 8 USC 1325.
Wait, is that for the citizen or
That
for the
would
non-citizen?
apply to everyone equally.
Okay, for the citizen then.
Yeah, that's going to apply for the immigrant
Okay.
as well as the
so
citizen.
how can the citizen illegally enter?
Yeah, by leaving the country and not having proper documentation to come back, i.e., some type of passport, something along. Yeah, you can absolutely lose citizenship.
Oh, you can. Okay.
Yeah, they
So-
took that one guy back to Russia.
So
He was a
if I were to,
citizen.
so if I were to move to Russia, am I no longer a dual citizen?
Oh, no, you can have dual citizen, but you can also be denied entry to the country absent documentation. Like if you were to show up at an
but
airport,
I'm still a citizen.
like,
but I'm
yeah, you're still a
citizen of the
citizen.
United
Yeah,
States, right?
yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you're still a citizen.
Okay.
But my point is if you flew into LaGuardia on, let's say, an unchartered plane or a private flight, and you showed up to LaGuardia and tried to get into the country without your passport, you're going to be denied. Or you're going to be sent to DHS to, straighten it out or apply for amnesty, or they can turn you away. So yes, even as a citizen, you can be denied access to your own country. So yeah, 8 USC 1325 is going to apply to citizens in the same sense that it would apply to immigrants.
I
Okay,
feel like we
yeah, I
have a
can see
massive
that.
circle here. This is what I was trying to say. This is exactly what I was trying to say earlier, except I didn't obviously have the law on hand. Would we talk about like natural born citizenship the same way? Like it doesn't apply to an immigrant, so therefore it's not in accordance to God's law.
Yeah, I think we've kind of we've tore this thing apart, and we're at where we're at with it.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna make any leeway either way.
Yeah, I think we're gonna move on from this point. I think Cuber has been waiting here. What's your age and what do you think about the ICE incidents that occurred? Person next to M's. Hello? I don't think they meant to join.
I don't see anybody else up on. Oh yeah, I do.
Well, anywho, I guess we'll just move on to M's. M's, what do you think about the ICE incidents that occurred? Hello?
We might have put them all to sleep.
Happened, child?
Well, I'm no child, but what about the ICE incidents that you recently heard about, that recently occurred?
Yeah, I think that ICE is completely in the right, and the people are acting completely irrational about it.
Hello?
Both, yeah? Both cases.
I think. Can I say my opinion on this?
What's your age?
I'm
That's a child.
45.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a child.
So, like, I think ICE
That is a
really
whole
bad 'cause, like,
child.
immigrants are really cool and I love it.
Yeah, there's no way you're
that's
45.
troll. That's a little troll kitty who wants to play games.
No way
They
you're
have-
45. Yeah, no way you're 45.
They have Fortnite and Roblox for you, kid.
You're not 45.
Yeah, she insta-fired with that when I was a little on the fence.
Yeah, Mermaid's my only mod down there. I think
Hey,
it's-
I'm in. Yeah, hey,
Oh
I'm
wait,
in.
yeah, Courier is back. Yeah, what's your age? What do you think about the prompts?
I'm 32, and before I get to the prompt, I was listening to the conversation earlier, and like, I just wonder, like, you know, to what point would you be okay with like just people coming here illegally to the point where it would, how negative, like, I'm trying to figure out how to say this, like, how much would your life have to be negatively impacted by that for you to not be okay with it, or would that be okay with you as well?
Not be okay with what? Specify, please.
So let's just say we have an open border policy, and anybody and everybody can move here and have access to what we have access to as American citizens. Like, and it's, so let's just say that, you know, let's just say your neighborhood just started getting overpopulated with people that I don't know, different religions, different cultures, and it just didn't, it didn't, just let's just say it didn't go good, okay?
Yep.
And your life was negatively impacted over that. Like, I don't know, would you have the same opinion on it?
I was 100% gonna say, are you talking about legal citizens that
No,
are
I'm
affecting
saying
culture and religion?
I'm just saying if you know, we didn't obey the law of the land and we just said, hey, whoever enters this land, regardless of what path they entered, it is a naturalized citizen. They have the same rights to everything that we do.
Oh, how do we think that would negatively impact us? I was 100% going to say, before you even mentioned it, was culture and religion. So we saw it affect our culture, correct?
Well, I think it would negatively impact.
100%. I agree. I agree it would negatively impact us, and I think there's evidence of that.
Absolutely. So, I mean, there has to be a point where it's like, you know, the law of the land. I mean,
if
to
I
what
don't want
point?
to assume anything, but I think you were more so directing that at Adrian.
Absolutely. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah, because the
Gotcha.
that
yeah,
I was that. Sorry, that was in response to Adrian.
that's real.
We kind of talked
real
about
easy
that.
to answer. Yeah, that's really easy to answer. So I would say that it has already affected me. It has already affected you. It has already affected everyone else. The moment that we stop holding God as the ultimate standard and see fit to establish what we think is righteous in our laws, and that goes against God's law, that because we're not to add to or take away from God's law. We see that in Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 2. We see it several verses after verse 2 that us holding to that, not adding to, not taking away, but establishing what he says for us to establish, that will be our wisdom and our understanding.
Right.
So we already have it to be the case that other worldviews are coming in. So not currently right now, but even like 50 years ago, 100 years ago, what have you, we had other cultures coming in and subverting God as the ultimate standard. And I'm not gonna say like we started out excellent because we didn't start out excellent. We did start out more so on the right track with having a theocentric
As a country,
law
you're
system.
saying?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, like the Pilgrims and whatnot, the Puritans coming over.
Okay.
So we had a theocentric law system in place, not a man-centered, but a God-centered law system in play. It was more so that than now. It wasn't perfect.
Would you
But,
say this country was built on God, just as a general statement?
I would say inspired by the law of God, but not 100% fed by the law of God.
Because I agree, we've strayed away from that.
Say, you know, and I heard Adrian
But
say
yeah,
earlier,
we
you know,
already have the cursings that we see promised by God in Deuteronomy 28 and in Leviticus 26, that the nation that does not obey his commands there's going to be cursings. We see in I think it's Isaiah 60:12 or 12:60 that the nation that does not obey him, like establishes his law in the land, he will destroy them. So, and I fully think that America is on borrowed time, either in the sense that we will be succumbed to like nations past that did not establish God's law, that still allowed child sacrifice to happen in the land. That's the big reason why nations were destroyed in the past, and they lasted roughly like 400 years. It's because child sacrifice was still happening in the land, and God destroyed them. Or it could be that we're in borrowed time in the sense that God's finally going to be like, you know what, you stupid children, that we see, I think, in Ezekiel, that he says that my people are stupid children, they know me not. Talking about his covenant people, but I'm not saying that America is his covenant people. I'm just saying God could just be like, you guys are morons. I'm just going to have mercy upon you and just change all the hearts and minds of the people to be after me, so that God's law is established and there will be actual justice, and you'll see peace in a land that lasted longer than you see in Judges. Israel had 80 years of peace. You'd be hard pressed to find any nation in history that had 80 years of peace, or even close to that, anything longer than that either. So
any nation as well, but I think you can make an argument like, yeah, no, we don't. This country isn't, we don't have Christian laws, but this country was built by Christians. This country was built by Christians.
It was
hardworking Christians, whether it be Catholicism, Protestants. I mean, this country was the people who built this country were good, hardworking Christians.
Yeah. I would give that that you had people that
like the majority of the people who built this country.
Yeah, there were people that strove to honor Christ. And I'm not going to make like the mistake of, we see in church history that people don't have a fleshed out doctrine like we do today. Like what is it? The hypostatic union or kenosis or things like that. So therefore they're heretics. No, I'm not going to make that mistake, because given the time that they were in, they're working with what they got, and so
and I don't think a lot of them could even interpret a minute part of it all, but they were just good people that went to church every Sunday, and they were hardworking, they paid their taxes, and they truly believed in God. And and those are the people that built this country.
And we allowed the church to be infiltrated and squandered that.
Allowed what?
Allow the church to be infiltrated and squandered that. Now it's no longer
right. Yes, very, very good on that. Very good on that. And I think we start seeing that after World War II. The downfall of what is called post-millennialism, the downfall of the hope of the future, teaching our children to teach our children. There's a great book by, I forget his name, but it's called Reconstruct. And it is on the idea of bringing forth the nation to Christ, reconstructing the nation to Christ. And he talks about earlier on, it's in chapter 1, he talks about how, what I call anyway, this bunker Christian theology, just sitting around watching and waiting for Christ to return. Bunker Christian theology is what is destroying this nation. But yeah, we see that downfall happening after World War II. And churches no longer diving in to these deep theological things like for example, God's law. And don't get. And I want to clarify on this. I am not one of those that says that you need God's law to be saved. I am saying that God's law is perfect, holy, righteous, and just, and we need to establish this law in the land. So the law does not save. I agree. We are under grace. We are not under law. It was never the case that we were under law. Abraham saved the same way that we are saved today, by grace and grace alone. As we see in Ephesians 1 and 2, as we see in John 6, and yes, even John 3:16, God bless, amen. Whoever the believing ones are, those are the ones that have eternal life. So whoever believes, the believing ones, yes, they are the ones who have eternal life. God bless, amen.
And I believe that, you know, the bulk of Americans who they were believing men. And even although they might not have even they might not have even understood.
Right.
But they were believing men, and that's what they hung their hat on. You know.
Yes. Yeah, but my point is, we have lost the ability to teach our children to teach their children.
Yes.
Concerning these deep theological issues. So many times I've read a couple of articles on some people maybe like Adrian reads. If you know anything about that, then it's an inside joke. But anyway, concerning like these parents or children being in high school or going into college, and they think that their children are equipped. They taught their children who God is, to obey God, what Christianity is about, but they didn't teach their children why worship God.
Let me interrupt one quick.
Children these deep
can we invite Bug up, host? I
What'd
don't
you
want to
say?
cut you off. I agree with you guys. I don't want to cut you off. You're making some great points. I agree 100%. I just want to know if the host, can we invite Bug up? Because she seems to have something that she really wants to talk about. And I think
I invite them. They don't really join.
Okay.
There's less than 15 minutes.
what I
I'm going to
thought.
end in 10 minutes. So,
Bug has always been a comment warrior. Never
Okay.
joined
Yes,
up.
even on my lives, Bug is a comment dweller.
All right.
Yeah,
Got it.
but I encourage you to get the book Reconstruct. Let me try to, before my eye hurts, I'm gonna try to see if I can get the name of that author, and then be right back. Hold on.
10 minutes. I'm going to end.
Appreciate you having us on, host.
You're welcome. I was going to go live for longer. I just felt really, really tired all of a sudden.
No, I get it. Yeah.
Usually I go live very, very late.
You do some jumping jacks.
All right, so it is by hold on, J.M. Wilson, I do believe. Hold on. Yeah, it is by J.M. Wilson and Benjamin Moore. The book is called Reconstruct.
Nice.
But he says something in the beginning that is so apt to what we see today. Like the Christians have this equation about the coming of Christ, and they're like, well, the world has to be in total chaos. The world has to be in such destruction and calamity before the return of Christ. And so that's their equation, and it kind of sets them up to interact with society based upon that equation. So they are feeding into society with the presupposition of world is going to be in chaos, destruction, things like that. So they're not going to do street evangelism. They're going to be silent when it comes to voting. They're going to be silent when it comes to interactions in the public square. They're not going to teach their children to teach their children. And so all of these things coming together, and then they say, "See, it's just how things are supposed to be." Well, the way that things are now is because the church has failed to do its job.
Absolutely.
And so,
we
since
become
the
so
church failed to do its
passive.
job, they're like, see how things are going? That's how the way things are supposed to be. No.
Instead of doing something about it, speaking up, we go there and we complain and complain and complain and do nothing about it.
Yeah, instead of holding the legislature to account, instead of telling the magistrate, hey, you need to obey God, and these bills that you're bringing forth are unjust, instead of doing things like that, instead of street evangelism, instead of going up here on TikTok and defending the faith in accordance to what God says, they just say, oh well, yeah, we're not doing anything that God that God commands us to do. We're not obeying His commands. As it says in the Great Commission, Matthew 28:19-20, discipling the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey all that God has commanded. Instead of doing that, to like, yeah, we're going to disobey God, and then say, oh yeah, the world is in such disarray. That's how things are supposed to be. Like, for crying out loud. I think I've stated my point.
No, I'm gonna go. He said he's gonna cut this off. I appreciate the conversation. Respect all you guys. Have a great night. God bless.
Yep. God bless. I am. And my eye is starting to hurt right now, so I'm popping off. You guys, God bless. Have a great night.
Oh, everybody left. Well, if everybody left, I might as well just end right now then. Yeah, I'll just end right now then. So have a good night, guys. We'll be back at this tomorrow. So yeah.
Bye.
Bye. I know Ems was itching for a conversation.
Ems didn't even speak. Oh wait, no, she did. She did. I remember.
Yeah,
she did
spoke a little
speak.
bit. And
She said the right opinion. She was very right.
She spoke
Thank
and she
you,
sounded
Ems.
very confused. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, there was a lot of religion talk.
I'll
But
leave it at
I
that.
promise it all aligns.
Yeah. All right. Have a good night, y'all.
You too. Thank you.